Hi, I'm Tom Campbell. I'm the director of the Fine Art Museums of San Francisco, and I'm in the Hammond Observation Tower at the DeYoung Museum with Mason Bates, who is the artistic director of Mercury Soul. And we're here to introduce a series of 3 films that Mason has made at the DeYoung and at the Legion of Honor, incorporating musicians and dancers. It's a really exciting project. We walked around both museums like months ago during the COVID pandemic, and I'd love to hear a little bit about how you went from like exploring these spaces to actually fleshing it out, deciding what music to record, how to interpret the spaces.
We definitely wanted to have 3 different videos, which is what you're going to see in these virtual Wednesdays on the 7th, 14th, and 28th. The first video explores the kind of iconic architecture of the museum, which we all see from different points in San Francisco. So it's shot outside. It's a Bach cello suite that is then kind of recomposed into a techno improvisation featuring Scott Pingel of the SF Symphony. Modern art, specifically modern architecture, kind of jives well with Mercury Soul's vision, which is always to bring classical music alive in clubs and now in short films.
And of course, we've got the iconic Herzogenaurach building, which is all angles and metal and shapes and patterns.
More challenging and interesting to kind of find a solution for was like, how do we use some of the permanent collection? For example, there's some really beautiful colonial artwork. We thought it'd be an interesting juxtaposition to bring in this amazing composer and songwriter, Mia Pixley, who has written this beautiful piece called Everything is Slow Motion that explores the topic of social justice. Kim Olivier from the SF Ballet, who is dancing to this music and both engaging with the art in a respectful way, but also in a bit of a confrontational way. You know, we look at this art differently after the past year when racial justice has been kind of in the forefront of everybody's minds.
Yeah, no, we're all recalibrating the way we think about the objects and the stories we tell about them.
Yeah.
So this is absolutely kind of on point with what we're trying to do.
Also, an interesting challenge was how to use the Legion of Honor. You know, it's just such a stunning building, and particularly the Rodin sculptures are just, you know, some of the most important pieces of sculpture in the world.
And of course, for anyone who doesn't know the Legion, it's a total contrast to the DeYoung. It was built in 1924, so almost 100 years ago, and it's the epitome of a Beaux-Arts building with columns, with very kind of classically proportioned galleries. So it's a very different kind of ambiance to be working with.
It's both inspiring and also challenging to find a way to interact with such a powerful setting and such powerful art. What we wanted to do had to do with the notion of time. And particularly, you know, over the past year with the sheltering in place and whatnot, I mean, every single person on this planet that's been dealing with this pandemic has had a different perception of time, sort of stretched out. There's an amazing Baroque song called Time Stands Still by John Dowland that I recomposed in a kind of electroacoustic way, featuring this amazing countertenor from Chanticleer named Cortez Mitchell. And so as Cortez is kind of wandering through the space, we have a stunning dancer named Doris Andres, who is also from the SF Ballet, who is dancing and improvising in front of these sculptures. To kind of accentuate this element of like time perception, we have these ultra slow motion clips of Doris in front of, you know, these beautiful sculptures of human anatomy.
I always feel very strongly there that the works of art are time capsules, and especially over this last year, you see that many of these works do reference time. Some of them are memento mori, you know, they are literally reminders of death. In light of what we've gone through with COVID and the terrible, you know, the ravages that's taken on society, this quaint historical concept has taken on, I think, new resonance for so many of us.
We decided during COVID to pivot into film production, and it was kind of a natural way for us to start working because we have so many production concepts in our minds all the time.
I was especially interested in working with you, I think for 2 reasons. I mean, one, the galleries were closed, so we wanted to think of interesting ways to create online digital experiences that could bring the galleries and the art to life. And secondly, the images, paintings, sculptures, they so quickly reduced to two-dimensional digital pixel images online. And you have to remind people that these are three-dimensional. Even a painting is 3 dimensions. And so having your musicians and your dancers in the spaces, I think that helps bring the works to life for people watching in a way that they're not going to do with simply just a kind of a slideshow. I've had the privilege of visiting museums around the world when music is being played inside of them. And somehow I always find that music animates a space. It creates it, it makes it a kind of an intellectual space in a way that is different, a different texture to when it's empty and soundless. And I think one carries that memory with one as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing these videos, but I'm also looking forward, and I hope the people who watch them will then carry the memory of these videos when they come back and they visit the museums themselves in the future. Okay, well let's go to the series.
Let's do it.